Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, a WWE legend returns on Raw.
Another iconic return is set for Raw next week.
It's not that one, though.
No.
WWE double act, team sort of blokes who like each other split up on Raw.
And AEW and Ring of Honor wrestlers have been pulled from an indie event. I'm Adam Wilborn.
But they don't really like each other anymore because they've split up. What have I done?
This is the news.
What an absolute disaster of a start. Let's talk about WWE.
Yes.
Please appreciate that face.
He said mammy just before she hit it. He's the best.
He's an idiot and he's great. He's the best, worst guy in wrestling at the moment, I think, Dominic Mysterio. What a worker. Lita, she returned on Raw. Becky Lynch has been looking for some help against damaged Cetril.
And Mia Yim has sucked at being that help, apparently.
Mia Yim did it for a couple of weeks and then went, I'm off. I don't fancy this.
I'm going to hang out with Candice LeRae instead.
I respect it. If you can get beaten up or you can just hang out and not get beaten up, I know what option I'm taking. Shout outs to Mia Yim. But yeah, Lita, even the odds a little bit. It's still 3-on-2, but we'll talk about that in a little minute.
There was a third person who could.
Steel cage match last night. It was Bayley versus Becky. Finally, that got put off from a couple of weeks ago when they ran out of time on the show and had to cut it. They've been feuding for ages. It's essentially been 3-on-1 at the core, although other people have come in and come out, as you've just mentioned there. But it was towards the end of the cage match. Lita came down. Of course, damaged Couture. They interfered all over the shop, climbing up the cage. This is the thing I don't like about these cage matches is when people just... It's like, you're in there alone, except you're not, because 5 minutes later, all your friends are here. But Lita came down, beat people up, kind of took the wrestlers off their game a little bit, and that allowed Becky Lynch to score the win in the main event, but it's still 3-on-2 technically. Either way, they had the match last year at Elimination Chamber, didn't they? Of course, yeah. Lita and Becky. I actually forgot about that until I looked at the cage match this morning. I went, when did Lita last wrestle? Yeah, it was right there. So they're going to do something. I guess we could just pivot straight into your story and then take it from there.
Yeah, we'll give our thoughts on it in a second because it's not the only legend who could be returning to help Becky Lynch. According to Worked
Tugboat. It's Tugboat, guys.
According to Worked Wrestling, Worked, I assume. It's one of those ones where they just remove all the vowels.
You reckon Bailey's behind this as well?
Yeah.
Worked.
WRKD Wrestling. Worked Wrestling. Not only did they call Lita's return on Raw, next week, to help Becky and Lita, Trish Bloody Stratus is coming back. This confirmed by Sean Ross Sapp, of course. No crap, just Sapp. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. He was going to share that tweet, but he said, there's a bit of a spoiler in it, so maybe I won't share it.
So, he tweeted that Worked had the Lita scoop, but there's also a spoiler in that tweet. So if you put 2 and 2 together, and this isn't what Sean's saying, obviously, but if you... figure it out. Yeah,
it's Trish Stratus to form an incredible threesome to take on Damaged Couture. I love this. I've got to say, I loved what happened on Raw, but what do you make of this trio heading to Elimination Chamber potentially?
Trio Elimination Chamber for the trios match. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's fun. I like
Stratus hasn't wrestled since SummerSlam 2019.
That's right, and that was a good match with Charlotte Flair as well. So. Why have I lost my train of thought? I have no idea. Yes, I think it's fun. Trish and Lita are fun. Like, they were the prominent fixtures in the women's division. Like, when I was really, getting into the week-to-week. When my parents finally got Sky. So now, it's like, hey, these people from my youth are back on TV, and they're still kind of cool, but they're not really detracting from anything. Yes. They're just adding to it. That's what it's supposed to be. It'll be a fun match. I know Damaged Couture will probably lose, which is suboptimal for them, but at the same time, I've got an idea about that I'll reveal in our Twitter questions.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for that. Yeah, and... I really enjoyed Raw last night. Obviously, that Cody Rhodes promo with Paul Heyman's all everyone is going to be talking about. But I thought it's weird as well, isn't it, with Trish and Lita coming back when it was groundbreaking for them to main event an episode of Monday Night Raw, and they just showed up and it was just like, oh yeah, what's the women in main event in? Because they do that sometimes now, and it's always awesome to see stuff like that and to see how far the business has come. But now, and also nice that they didn't just go. As people were moaning about online, we're not going to do that steel cage match now. They've held off, they gave it the main event, and it got the reaction it deserved with Lita coming back, with Trish coming back, potentially next week. I'm jazzed for this. very excited.
Should be good. That's my expert level analysis.
But like you say, more with the Twitter questions later.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the double blokes, the guys.
Oh, your mate.
Boys. Yeah, my personal cuisine tutor, Baron Corbin, and one of the worst guys who ever lived, JBL.
Yeah, fair assessment.
Kane's worse, to be fair, but still. They seem to have split up on Raw last night. Baron got his ass beat by Dexter Loomis one-on-one, which is never great for your momentum, which is his third kind of embarrassment in recent weeks. He lost to Jonathan Gargano the other week, and then he got eliminated from the Royal Rumble in as much time as it takes for me to say the word ambidextrous.
To be fair, he had 2 finishes before.
He did.
Come on, JBL, give him a break.
Yeah, come on, JBL. What are you doing, you harsh taskmaster? But backstage afterwards, JBL was absolutely fuming. He said a bunch of stuff. He basically said that you can't polish a turd. Saying there's a real gulf between me and you. You want to call yourself the modern day wrestling god. You're not a wrestling god. You're more of a wrestling cod. That's the type of fish which he might cook in his kitchen and eat with ketchup afterwards. Corey Graves got a little boot in as well. He said the Baron can't get out of his own way at the moment. So they're clearly doing something there. Obviously, this is inevitably leading to the Baron Corbin babyface run where he headlines WrestleMania against Roman Reigns instead of Cody Rhodes.
Good. I hated this storyline. I hated it. Because I like Baron Corbin. I think he's very underrated.
He's a good stooge.
He's a genuine, lovely man as well. But yeah, he had to hang around with JBL and pretend like people used to be impressed by JBL, who I loved him in the APA, but most of the time sucked. And I want to be a wrestling god like you, JBL. Piss off.
Go away.
I hope we get to just see more Corbin doing, like Broke Corbin was great.
Broke Corbin ruled. I thought Happy Corbin was fun for a while, man.
Yeah.
Like he's good at being just a piece of crap heel. So let's do that again and get the crusty old guy away from it.
Get JBL off television. Again, more on this when it comes to the Twitter questions, though.
Who could they replace him with as a manager? We've already name-dropped Kane.
What, so you're telling me that Baron Corbin has to have worse people than JBL now?
Let's go through the... Actually, let's not go through the list. We're going to end up in Drake Wirtz. Imagine that. Gee whiz. No one's invoked that name in a while.
Please welcome Baron Corbin's new manager, QAnon, apparently.
It's a person in a letter Q costume or something. Oh, God.
Like the guy who's in the big hand thing from Mae Young's.
Hold on. Speaking of stupid conspiracy theories,
I
think I've just worked out your round finally.
Okay.
If not, we'll get there.
Oh.
You let's do the final story.
Okay.
And take it from there.
3 AEW and Ring of Honor wrestlers have been pulled from Beyond Wrestling's Perfection or Vanity show, which goes down last weekend in February, Sunday the 26th of February, due to the fact it is going to clash with the Ring of Honor TV tapings. The 3 stars, Wheeler Yuta, Tracy Williams, and Trish Adora, all out of that show. Both Fightful and Voices of Wrestling reporting that these will be the first tapings since they took over Ring of Honor, and it's apparently going to be the lead-in, obviously, to Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor show going on over WrestleMania weekend.
It's the risks you take booking contracted talent. Not too sure about Trish and Tracy's contractual status. I don't think we've had confirmation either way, but they've been involved in the Ring of Honor brand. Trish worked Willow Nightingale on the last show.
God, I love Willow Nightingale.
Willow Nightingale's awesome. And Wheeler Yuta is obviously contracted to AEW, so there you go.
And Pure Champion?
Yeah. How have we forgotten that? Idiots. But it's one of those things when you do business with contracted people. They reserve the right to pull people from shows if they need them and stuff.
And it's kind of a big one.
And I always think it would be nice if you had to pull someone, if you gave someone back in return, but there's no real obligation to do that. It would just be a nice thing
I agree with that.
Do. That being said, I use this moment to put over Trish Adora, one of the great underrated wrestlers in the world. If she doesn't have a massive breakout year and maybe sign somewhere and just become the biggest star, wrestling has failed this year. She's fantastic. People don't realize how great a wrestler she is. She just went to Japan, was awesome over there. Tokyo Joshi Pro. She'll be awesome again on these Ring of Honor tapings. The Willow match was fun at Final Battle, but a little bit too short. It was clearly just, Trish is going to do a good job and make Willow look good in victory because she's the contracted wrestler. Get on the Trish Adora hype wagon. She is a sensational pro wrestler. big spotlight in 2023, please. That'd be
Two
good.
Trishas on the news today.
Oh, we can't have that. Vince would change one of their names, wouldn't he? Your name is now just Stratus.
Yeah, please welcome Stratus Faction. What? Anyway, right, should we move on to our Twitter questions?
Trish Stratus' real name Patricia. Pat Stratus. Postman. Pat.
It would have been a different... My mum's called Pat.
Big Pat.
Lethal at beer pong, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolute animal. Beat everyone
Killer
in
on
office.
the court, yeah. Anyway, Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us, or we sort of sometimes take Twitter questions. Wouldn't be Twitter questions, would they? We take questions from our YouTube community page, so make sure we're always checking that.
We'll be doing that tomorrow because Daddy has an early Zoom call tomorrow, so we have to finish
no
it
messing
early.
about.
Yeah.
Well, less messing about. No, it's never no.
Yeah.
Ace Hole gives us our first question of the day.
Ace Hole.
Ace Hole.
All right.
At the Ace of on Twitter. Writes, would you give Cody the challenge of going through Solo Sikoa before he gets to Roman Reigns?
I think it'd be a good match and it would make sense as like a road bump for Roman to throw at him. However, I would not. I would not beat Solo at all for a while. I would maybe build him up to face Gunther or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the... I actually need to go back and check what the result of that match with Kevin Owens where Sammy got involved in was. But, like, you haven't seen Solo laying flat on his back, getting pinned 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he's not being beaten decisively.
No, exactly. And, yeah, I certainly wouldn't put a Cody match at the Elimination Chamber. That's Sammy's night, and you risk... The Dudleys were pointing this out yesterday. You risk just... ruining what you have with Cody Rhodes by people going, wait a second, does he suck now because of the tribal support, pun I suppose intended, for Sami Zayn in Canada. So I wouldn't do it there. Yeah, I wouldn't do, I'd maybe have him fight Solo, but not in an official match capacity.
You could do an angle where Roman sends Solo to take him out. That'd be cool. But I get the logic with this, but I would maybe just keep Solo a little bit more protected.
Thoughts on the Cody promo from last night?
It made me cry.
It's amazing.
It didn't make me cry, but obviously, he is so chaotic, isn't he? Like, he's got this emotional gear that he'll go through and it'll seem really earnest, and then the next week he'll do something insane like set his back on fire.
Yeah.
I love this man. He is so pro wrestling. He's so silly, isn't he? Cody is so silly. Like, even when he's really great, he's just a silly man.
I love him.
That's why I love him.
I think he's amazing.
Everything I like is silly, and Cody falls into that.
Exactly.
That category.
Brian George asks us a question following NXT Vengeance Day, which if you want to hear our entire review of that, is available as a podcast right now. What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts
Best show
from.
of the week.
It is. Morning, fellas. Brian writes, seeing as Carmelo Hayes looks to be the next challenger for Braun Breaker, who do you think will win at Stand and Deliver since they're both clearly main roster ready?
Wow. Goodness, this is a tough question on a lot of levels, right? Because I think Carmelo is like probably the most advanced wrestler in that main event scene at the moment. As in, by advanced, I mean like he's a complete TV act already. Yeah. Like, what more seasoning does this guy need? Him and Trick are awesome together.
Trick's so good.
I think if you could bring them up tomorrow, they would get over in an instant. They're so great together. Trick, younger in terms of in-ring experience, but he'll get there. He'll get there.
Shaking like a booty on a Friday night or something. A cold Friday night.
Yeah.
What a line.
What a line, man. Backstage interviews popping. Braun, I still think Braun could use a little bit more seasoning, a little bit more flavor. But I wonder, is the Performance Center really the best place for that? I know it's this state-of-the-art facility and all of that, but increasingly, and I didn't mean to turn this into a diatribe, but increasingly in Braun Breaker's NXT run, I'm getting really tired of them forcing him into this match format where he just goes 15, 20 minutes and he does headlocks and stuff. He's a Steiner. That's not what he should be doing. Like, it's cool that he can fundamentally do a nice chin lock or whatever. I don't give a crap about that. What made his dad special, and what made his uncle special, and what should make him special, because he has the same energy, you hear it when he speaks, and you see it when he does his big jock moments, is that dumb jock energy, is that smash mouth, stupid spot, all action, all killer, no filler, idiot pro wrestling that I love. I don't want to see this guy doing any more 15, 20-minute matches. I want to see him Goldberging Mother Hubbards across the board. Maybe he could do that better on the main roster. Answer, Braun.
Two things that he needs to do. Kick ass, bark. That's it. That's all he needs to do. I think Melo wins a stand and deliver because I think you're right. Braun Breaker is going up to the main roster, especially because it would make sense and actually be quite clever long-term planning for this, that you've already had Braun on the Raw after WrestleMania last year, winning the world title, obviously back from Dolph Ziggler, which was just weird that they didn't just do it to him on the Stand and Deliver show. But you've already exposed him to that. I think, both of them, well, I suppose all three of them, include Trick Williams in this, could be called up tomorrow to the main roster.
Roxy's another one. Like, there's a few.
Have Melo hold that title for a bit. Drop it to Tony D'Angelo, and then Melo can go up to well,
the natural successor.
Yeah. Also, if you're a fan of Roxanne Perez, check out probably the Raw review and the NXT preview later on today, because Michael Hamflett has a fascinating theory about what Perez might be doing over WrestleMania weekend.
I just, content idea just popped into my head. Ooh. Work, lists. We'll do some lists.
Mark Smith gives us our final question of the day, who writes, we're getting Corbin versus JBL at WrestleMania. What is one match we'll see by the end of 2023 that you never thought we'd see a month ago?
Trish and Lita versus Io Sky and Dakota Kai for the belts. The belts at WrestleMania.
Oh my god.
They're going to do the trios match at Elimination Chamber, aren't they? Which is good stuff. But I think they're going to lose that. But they could lose that, and it wouldn't matter too much if we get to WrestleMania and Kai and Sky beat the legends and retain the titles. I think that'd be a nice rub, and I would not have predicted it happening prior to last night.
What would you do with the Ronda situation then? Because obviously people seem to be thinking Io.
I would do precisely nothing with her for a while, to be honest. I like Ronda Rousey's work a lot. I've always put it over, even in the early days when people were being really cynical about it. Like, I've always liked Ronda's work. She's not had a good comeback run at IMO. I would keep her off TV now, having seen this emerge, until after Mania, and then maybe do her and Shayna versus Kai and Sky after WrestleMania.
Okay.
So you got two stories.
I
baby.
like that, yeah.
Better than one.
Oh yeah, have a return following WrestleMania. Paul Heyman has her mouthpiece.
Boom. She does need a manager.
Yeah.
I think so.
And have Shayna kick ass as well, because Shayna is awesome, and they've really not used her as well as I would hope.
And the thing, like, people are really unfair about Ronda's mic work. Like, she has a speech impediment, I believe, right? Like, so she naturally struggles with a lot of, like, longer promos and stuff. It's just a natural fit to do that.
Yeah.
But, like, that's something people should maybe take into account a little bit more when they're tearing her mic work apart, I think.
I love that as a fantasy match. I'm going to go slightly different. Because, and I'm not even going to mention Dom, because Dom's just going to kick it. He's probably going to win all the titles at WrestleMania, if I'm honest. He should. Or they should do another NASCAR race, because that kicked ass on SmackDown. Anyway, my match that we'll see by the end of this year that we didn't expect to see soon. We've just had a guy come back who loves to do guitar stuff. I'm talking Rick Boogs!
Thick Rick?
Versus Jeff Jarrett. Because Jeff Jarrett is the best worker in the business, and he'll just be allowed by all companies to hop between them. New Japan to AEW, AEW to WWE, WWE to the reunited, reformed WCPW. He's the best.
I got another one. Battle of the Subs. Dominic Mysterio, obvious sub, versus Glacier, Sub-Zero. There you go. Boom. Yours is a better idea. Jeff Jarrett always wins.
And finally, I was going to pitch this as our background until Andy brought through the greatest wrestler in our generation. Because shout out to Sean X, who sent this to me with the phrase, I think the cow has some competition. Shout out to Laughing Cow again, as always. And the Cadbury's Caramel Bunny, and of course the Jolly Green Giant. But oh my God, did you see the photo that Ricky Starks posted?
Yeah, the work of art.
He's an absolute beast! I touched his back once. Oh, it was unbelievable. This hand touched his back.
Hasn't washed it
since.
Said,
excuse me, Ricky.
Oh, brother.
What a guy.
No. I thought the finale today was going to be Saraya. Have you seen this? So Saraya decided, I've done this before, right? If you mention Flat Earth on Twitter.
I did see this, actually.
Right, sometimes they come for you. The Flat Earth people, they go, actually, there's an ice wall at the end of the Earth.
What?
Maniacs. But Saraya's verbiage in confronting these people was sensational. What does she call them? What does she call flat earthers?
Dumbasses?
Flatties. So I got
Get her on!
I got tagged by like 4 or 5 people going, brother, is that not copyright? But someone like tweeted her some stupid flat Earth nonsense, and she went, okay, I found one. So you flatties say it's a government conspiracy. All right, blah blah blah. Later on, someone else tweeted her saying she was looking silly, and she went, oh, I look stupid. My bad, guys. The flatties said it is older than the Marilyn Manson rumor. Ribs, if you don't know, making myself look a fool. So shout outs to Soraya for co-opting the term. I think we can use it for both.
Yeah, does the flat think the Earth's flat as well?
No, he's
got the best perspective, hasn't he?
The flatty.
See the curvature of the Earth.
the actual flatty is very intelligent.
Yeah.
He's got an IQ of 7,000.
All the conspiracy theories on the news today: QAnon, flat Earth, Jolly Green Giant.
They're all bollocks.
They're all. Well, the Jolly Green Giant one.
Yeah.
What's he packing? That's what I want to know.
You gotta play Skyrim, mate. He's in there. And Randy Savage.
Big old pinner. Anyway, right.
A pinner can't be big, man.
Yeah, I just realised as I said that.
There's a beer called Pinner you can buy in Tesco.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yep.
Right.
It's pretty good. I think I give it 3 stars on Untapped.
Oh.
There you go.
Cheers.
Yeah. If you have a beer app, you're a loser like me.
Right, anyway, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Let us know your thoughts, Twitter questions, all that good stuff on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And as Andy mentioned earlier, we'll take our questions tomorrow from the YouTube community page, so keep an eye out for a post on there asking for your Twitter questions. Can't be Twitter questions if it's on YouTube, Adam, you dickhead. Anyway, speaking of Twitter, you can find Andy Murray on there at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hoop 13, the land before Hoop.
What's going to happen tomorrow? That's the big
There's
question.
hoops everywhere. No one cares.
Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at AdamWilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
It's not flat, you idiots.